Welcome to the Executive Innovation Show podcast, where we bring you real executive conversations with industry game changers and thought leaders. We ask the questions you're thinking, what you're scared to ask, and we make your brain hurt afterward. With your host, Carrie Chitsey, co-founder and CEO of One Touch Video Chat, live video interviews, and the nonprofit Humans Helping Humans.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's show, the Executive Innovation Podcast. This is our part 2 of all things Gen Z, and today we're going to be talking banking. We have some awesome Gen Zs with us from Anderson High School. Make sure you listen to part 1 and stay tuned for part 3. Today we're going to be talking about all things banking and what Gen Zs are really looking for in their banking relationship. Guys, welcome to the show again.
Thank you.
Awesome. So I want to go around the room and ask, when did everybody first kind of get their bank account, and if they have a bank account? And the second part to that question is, did you get an account? Don't tell me the bank, but did you get the account where your mom and dad bank, or did they take it to a completely different place? So Sam, we're going to start with you.
I don't have a bank account.
There we go.
I started out getting a bank account where my mom gets hers, and then I recently left and went to another bank for myself.
There you go. Get that financial independence. Nathan?
Yeah, I have a bank account. It's run through the same bank
As your parents?
I've had CDs for a while, but my first bank account tied to a debit card, like a checking account, I was probably in 6th grade, and it's at the financial institution where my dad's business account is, because it offered the best benefits for people under 18.
Cool.
For me, I got a bank account in elementary school, mostly because piggy banks are starting to get outdated, and money starts disappearing magically from your piggy bank.
Right.
So time to put in a secure bank account, and I opened my first bank account with in my mom's bank account.
Okay. So as we look at banks, they're really in a couple different categories. You have your kind of top big 5 banks, right? And then you have your kind of regional, either a bank or a credit union. That's kind of your local one from that perspective. Without saying any names, we go around? I want to know, and Sam will take you out, but are you banking at one of the big banks, or are you banking with either a local bank or a local credit union? No names, just tell me which of those 3 categories.
I use a credit union because I like the benefits that they offer, and I want to keep it local.
Okay.
I use a large bank.
Okay.
One of the big ones.
Okay.
I use a credit union for my checking account, and then a major one for investments.
Okay.
I use one of the big banking companies.
Okay. So when we look at banks, and it's pretty table stakes to have the mobile apps and kind of, taking check deposits and things like that. As you look at your current bank, was you going with that bank? Did technology have any play into it that you could kind of do it from your phone and things like that? Did that have any means of why you went with that bank, or was it driven all just parents kind of, you get what this bank offers technology-wise? Anyone want to talk about that?
Well, my first bank, I left specifically because it wasn't very app-friendly.
Yep.
I wasn't able to access it. I was having to log in every 5 minutes. It didn't do Face ID, so I left and went to a bank that did, and now I'm a lot happier.
That's a good point.
Mine started out, I didn't choose it because of the technology, but it was an added benefit that I could access it with fingerprint or Face ID, just because that allows me to check it much easier.
For me, it wasn't a deciding factor from how long I've had it, but it is very convenient, the mobile app and being able to access your account in a split second.
So I think something's interesting. I've heard you guys say a lot today that I don't hear from other generations. You guys have mentioned a lot Face ID. I'm guessing based on that, you guys are, the ease of use of not having to put in a user ID and password is pretty critical, because I've heard you guys mention that a lot today. I see a opinion coming.
Well, I haven't really used any Face ID, and I'm sure there are people like in my generation that are like a little bit uneasy still about the whole concept of Face ID. But like, I guess like some people like to keep the traditional like username and password, but there are some people that are like, I mean, Face ID is more convenient for them.
Right.
So that's very understandable.
Yeah.
I personally think, like, especially for younger people whose passwords are probably just their dog's name, it's probably a lot better that we have things like Touch ID and Face ID because you know that it's secure. However, it does restrict parents from accessing unless their face or fingerprint is on the child's phone.
Yeah, I've enabled that on my tween. You can't get in my phone, like, I can't. Take that off. Okay, when's the last time? So there's, a lot of talk, you probably have seen it, is that, more and more branches are closing down just because we all use our phones on our mobile. There's not a need to go into a physical branch as much. If you can deposit, get money, all that kind of stuff, you can there's interactive teller machines where you can, do a deposit from the teller, things like that. When's the last time you went into a physical branch? Let's just go around.
Oh, it's been a very long time since I've been to the physical bank, unless it was my parents trying to move accounts and stuff like that. But I think anytime I go to the bank, I'm just going into the little drive-through.
Yeah.
But going inside the bank, it's very rare.
I mean, I've had my parents do some deposits, but the last time I was physically in a bank was January of 2019.
Okay.
I'd say the last time was probably January of this year, after Christmas. I
Gotta go put that cash in.
I had some cash, and so I was like, I don't really like holding money like that, so I'll just put it in the bank account.
Okay.
Last time I went into a bank was August of last year, just so I could open up the account, and I haven't been there since.
Okay. So when you look at that local branch, do you see going into the branch as you go in there for financial advice, or you go in there if you have problems and you have to go find a person to fix those problems for you, or why would you go into a branch? Is it you want to go into a branch, or the bank, whatever you have to do makes it so you have to go into the bank for that transaction?
Yeah, probably the latter. Just something occurs that you can't find an answer to on your phone or through their help, so you go in for that. Or I guess if you're just if you're depositing money,
right,
or making a withdrawal for cash, but even then you could just go to an ATM.
Yeah,
I think the only reason that I would go in is to make a large cash deposit where I wouldn't immediately need that amount.
I think for anytime I would imagine going to the inside of the bank would be either to if it had to do with managing accounts, but even then you could probably do that online now, but also just opening accounts and stuff like that, just technical stuff like that. But other than that, you can pretty much do everything online now.
For me, if I can't find it on Google or something, whatever answer I need, I call them, and if they tell me to come in, I'll go in. Otherwise, I don't want to go into a bank, so I avoid it at all costs.
And would you rather call the bank and be able to get a hold of a local person, or have to physically drive to that location?
Call.
Okay. And so then my next question is as you think about in the future, when you're post-college or during college or whatever, and you need financial advice, whether it's, hey, I'm going to buy a car, I'm going to buy a house, I've got some money, or you want to invest, like you said earlier, CDs, 401k, things like that. Now that you have all these banks that, the online banking companies where you can invest online and you don't have to go into a physical location, would you rather have that local relationship with somebody, or rather do it online and kind of manage it yourself and maybe video with that advisor or call them? What would be your preference in that regards in the future? And Sam, you can chime in on this one since this is the future.
I feel like so many banks or car dealerships are more selfishly inclined to talk about their finance options and how their bank benefits you. So I feel like it's easier to just look up like unbiased research on like what's the best way to go about financing a car or a mortgage or whatever it is that you're doing. Just because I feel like every time you go to a car dealership, they're just trying to get you to purchase that car that day with their options.
It's not authentic.
Exactly.
Any others?
Yeah, I'd say like for a larger, like in the future, for larger sums of money, like an advisor, I'd probably want to meet more face to face with them, just because like for me it'd be a trust thing.
Yeah.
I want to, even though like you can video chat and like you can go to a big bank or whatever, even if it is at a big bank, I'd want to have my one person who I've been doing it with, who I know, and like who I know doesn't have anything going on that will affect mine. He's just like my money. He's just helping me out, doing his job, and like I know there's like trust there between me and that person.
Got it.
I tend to just like doing things in person, just in general.
Yeah.
Like shopping or going somewhere, because online you can't tell anything. So.
Right.
For me, if I could avoid all human contact, I would be so happy. I just want to do everything online, and I would love it if I didn't have to make a call. And luckily for me, if like I want to apply for a loan or anything, I can do it through the app because they have that accessible to me.
Right.
So I won't ever have to. It's amazing.
All right, and last question on our banking segment. What do you think about the banking 800 numbers? Do you think that do you call them, and B, do you think that you're reaching somebody in a call center somewhere? Do you avoid it? Do you like it? What do you think about 800 numbers in general?
I mean, I use them like when necessary, but you know, by this time I know all of the whole sounds by heart, you know, like, but I mean, most of it, 800 numbers, you know, you're reaching someone in another state or somewhere totally different.
Yeah.
So it's not as personal, but I mean, it can be useful, but like, you're there for a while.
Right.
I think that's, if they're hard to reach, you're there for a while. I think that's the biggest issue.
I've definitely called over like fraudulent charges, or just like not being able to access the account. But also, I mean, I kind of stray away from ever having to like make those calls because I know that they're time consuming, and they're just going to put me on hold and have to call a manager over.
Yeah.
And, you know, all this complicated stuff.
Got it. All right. Well, this concludes our banking segment with all things Gen Z. Make sure you listen to our part 3, which is all things Gen Z healthcare related. As always, subscribe to the show and get your new show delivered to you every Tuesday and the Knowledge Nugget on our Thursday series. That's all. Thanks for joining.
This podcast has come to a close. To hear more from the Executive Innovation Show podcast, subscribe, submit questions, and share the love. Follow us on social. We're everywhere.